Hi, I'm Jen from JenThereDoneThat, and starting April 28th, 2021, we have a new arrivals process for all passengers to Puerto Rico. So the new process is all travelers must fill out the travel declaration form. I will leave a link to that in the description below. You must present a negative PCR molecular test upon arrival. This can be the nose or throat swab, but it's got to be the PCR molecular test. No rapid blood tests are accepted upon arrival. The test cannot be more than 72 hours old from the time of your arrival. That is 3 days, but they are looking at the 72-hour mark. So make sure that you time your test accordingly based on your arrival. If for some reason your flight is a couple hours late, they may be pretty lenient with you, but don't push the 72 hours prior to your arrival. They are monitoring that. If your test is too old, they may require you to get another PCR molecular test to show your negative results. If your results are not back by the time you arrive, you do have a 48-hour grace period. This is 48 hours to either receive your test results that you had previously taken, or you can take the $110 airport test at SJU only. That's the San Juan Airport. Aguadilla and Ponce do not have it yet, but they will be implementing that soon, so we don't have an exact date. If your test results aren't back, or you didn't take a test, then they will provide you with local testing facilities around the island where you can go and immediately get your test. They are no longer requiring a referral from doctors to get your test if you're an arriving passenger, and they're actually going to move you ahead of the line in priority to make sure that we get those tests back as quickly as possible. But you must have your test back within 48 hours, and while you're waiting for your test results, you must self-quarantine. They are enforcing that, and the 2-week quarantine or the self-quarantine is no longer acceptable. They are mandating the negative PCR molecular test, and that is for all passengers 2 years of age and older. The travel declaration form does have a place for you to upload your vaccine information. A photo of your vaccine passport can be uploaded to the travel declaration form, and they are requesting some information. It's treated more like a survey at this point. Even if you are vaccinated, you still must produce a negative PCR molecular test upon arrival. Hopefully, the fact that they're asking for vaccine information means that they may reconsider that in the near future, but for right now, as of April 28th, they are saying that even with a vaccine, you must present a negative PCR test. Once you upload all of your information to the travel declaration form, you'll receive your confirmation code. This is the QR code that actually allows you to leave the airport. If you have any questions while you're filling out the travel declaration form, that entire process is being assisted by the U.S. National Guard. And most of them speak English. They're very polite, they're extremely helpful, and they will be able to help you get through the process and answer any of your questions while you're there. But the big question that you need to know before you travel is that you must have that negative test. I'm going to say it probably 10 more times in this video, so no one will misunderstand that that is a requirement. Many of you are asking about the departure process. Neither Puerto Rico nor the CDC requires a negative test to leave the island, but some states and airlines are requiring it. So the ones that as of filming, are currently requiring this are Alaska, Hawaii, California, the District of Columbia, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, New Jersey, New York, New Mexico, Oregon, Vermont, and Rhode Island. Each have various restrictions or requirements. So if you're flying into any of those locations, double check at the arriving airport what their requirements are. Your airline may also be requiring additional information or have additional requirements for testing. So double check with your requirements. What I'm sharing with you is just what Puerto Rico is requiring for all passengers either to the San Juan Airport, SJU, the Aguadilla Airport, or the Ponce Airport. All three are open and all three have these requirements. So as you arrive, there is a small pre-screening process, and they have added thermographic cameras to monitor temperatures, and they have enhanced protocols throughout each of the three airports that are currently open. If you are a symptomatic traveler, so you arrive exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19, they do have an additional protocol for you. They will require a rapid COVID test. They'll do it right there on site. The National Guard has those, and they're ready to test you on site with that rapid test. And then if it does come back positive, you will immediately need to quarantine, and they will additional medical requirements for you. Even if the rapid test comes back negative, if you appear sick, they may still have additional quarantine requirements for you. And as I've stated in the full travel restrictions video, I'll link that up above, we do have a curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So the taxis around the island will not be operating, but many of you have asked, what if I get in after curfew? Well, the taxis are still operating at each of the three airports, and they will be able to drive you directly to your hotel or other accommodations, but nothing else will be open after curfew. If you are staying in Old San Juan, access to Old San Juan is being restricted after 10 p.m. So if you do have hotel reservations there, make sure that you have that handy and available, because they will stop you trying to get into Old San Juan after curfew. The ferries to Vieques and Culebra are operating, and they have been saying for the last month that they're going to require negative PCR tests for the Vieques ferry. We're not really seeing that enforced yet. That may be enforced at the sell of the ticket or when you're purchasing your ticket. But just be prepared that if you're planning to go to Vieques, you may still need that negative test result to board the ferry. And finally, let's talk about fines. There's a $100 fine if you are caught indoors or outdoors around crowds not wearing your mask over both your nose and your mouth. You may be given a warning, but they are issuing a lot of tickets, so be prepared. If you don't have a mask on, you may get that $100 fine. If you arrive to the island without your negative PCR molecular test and fail to upload a negative PCR molecular result within 48 hours of arrival, you will be fined $300 per person. And due to some very unruly behavior, they've also implemented a new fine for people that are disruptive. Any passenger who acts against the health department's orders and guidelines will receive an administrative fine of no more than $5,000, but in the case of a second violation, the fine may be as much as $10,000. So they really are cracking down on misbehavior, not wearing your mask properly, and arriving without that negative PCR molecular test. They have been requiring the test or quarantine since July, and what they've seen is only about 30% of the passengers were actually bringing their PCR molecular negative test results with them, and the other 70% said they were going to self-quarantine, and many are not. So that's why this enforcement is coming in, and it's so strict. I think we're going to see more details of how they're enforcing this. There may be some additional tweaks and changes to the arrival process. If they're small, I'll leave those in the description below. And if there are major changes, you'll see a new video coming out from me soon. I will keep you posted on our travel updates and our news around the island. So thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos from JenThereDoneThat in Puerto Rico, the arrival process, traveling on the island, the Caribbean, and beyond.